I seem to be able to put my feelings down in a song easier than I can talk about it. I play me better than anybody.
You thought Willie Nelson was the most forgiving man in country music. The mystic, the peacemaker, the living saint with a guitar named Trigger and a heart open to everyone. You were wrong. At 92, the man they called the Buddha of Nashville has a list. And tonight, 7 names are finally getting read aloud. 7 artists who betrayed his trust, mocked his faith, or turned brotherhood into something he couldn't forgive. Some were legends. One was a brother, and one will make you question everything you thought you knew about who Willie Nelson really is. Critics spent decades calling him a mascot, a relic, a stoned old man too soft to fight back. Soft men don't carry grudges this sharp. Number 1, Garth Brooks. The showman Willie never trusted. On paper, they should have been allies. 2 men who loved country music more than anything. But the moment Garth Brooks begins flying across arenas on cables, surrounded by pyrotechnics and fog machines, Willie sees something different. He sees a funeral. The tension crystallizes one night in 2004 at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Brooks takes the stage and praises Willie as the conscience of country music. The cameras catch it beautifully, but backstage, Willie finds him and looks him directly in the eye. Next time, Willie says quietly, "Sing it like you mean it." A sound technician who was standing just 6 feet away later told friends the room went so still, you could hear the air conditioning. That sentence spreads through Nashville like smoke. From that night forward, Willie declines every duet request, every shared stage, every photo opportunity involving Garth Brooks. He doesn't explain. He doesn't argue. He simply disappears from every room Garth walks into, and that disappearance is the loudest verdict of all. Plastic perfection has a cost. Willie makes sure Garth knows what it is. Number 2, Shania Twain. The queen who broke his faith, Willie Nelson never wanted country music to sparkle. He wanted it to bleed. So when Shania Twain turns the genre into choreography and the charts into a Vegas residency, something inside him goes permanently cold. The fracture goes public at the CMA Awards. Shania walks away with Entertainer of the Year, sits 3 rows behind her, clapping with the precision of a man performing a function. Backstage, he mutters to a longtime road manager, "Entertainer, maybe." But that ain't country. Shania moves toward him, smile ready. Hand extended, Willie nods once. Then he walks through her like she's a door. The industry calls it arrogance. Willie calls it honesty. To him, she didn't just cross a line, she erased one, and he never lets her back across it. Some betrayals aren't personal, they philosophical, and those are the ones that never heal. Number 3, Waylon Jennings, the brother who went cold. Every other name on this list is an industry grudge. This one is a wound. Willie and Waylon build outlaw country together. Same buses, same motels, same belief that Nashville could be something true. As the headlines multiply, Waylon starts noticing the order of the names. Always Willie and Waylon, never Waylon and Willie. By the late 70s, something hardens behind his eyes. He begins arriving late to sessions. He drinks harder. He rolls his eyes when someone calls Willie the face of the outlaw movement, and people close to both men begin to see it. Then, in the studio one night, Waylon snaps. "You too stoned to play straight," he says across the room. Willie smiles, sets down his guitar. Says nothing, but a longtime collaborator who was present that night later said that smile wasn't forgiveness. That smile was Willie deciding something. Their friendship breaks for good in the early 80s. A joint interview where Waylon, half laughing, calls Willie a hippie in cowboy boots who forgot where he came from. The reporters laugh. Willie does too. He walks out after the interview and stops calling. When Waylon dies in 2002, Willie sends flowers and a handwritten note. "See you on the road somewhere. It is goodbye, and it is also everything he never said." Some doors close gently. How you know they were never reopening. Number 4, Toby Keith. The patriot who pushed too far, Willie Nelson has one rule about music. A guitar should never wave a flag. Everyone in Nashville knows exactly who that rule is aimed at. The breaking point arrives at a veterans' benefit in Austin. Willie performs for unity. Then Toby takes the stage, Flag waving, fist raised, the concert transformed into a campaign rally. Willie watches from the wings, arms folded. When Toby walks off, Willie steps into his path. "You reusing music to fight," Willie says, "not to heal." Toby laughs and keeps walking. That laugh is the last thing he ever gets from Willie Nelson. From that day forward, if Toby Keith is on a poster, Willie is off it, quietly, without explanation. A mutual friend later tries to broker peace, passing along a message that Toby meant no harm. Willie never responds, he tells his crew. "I've met louder men, not many emptier ones." Silence in Willie's world is the sharpest possible reply. Number 5, Merle Haggard. The joke that cost everything. When Merle Haggard starts calling Willie's marijuana activism a mascot act, not a musician's act, Willie shrugs it off once. He brushes it off twice. Then Merle says it live on stage, with Willie sitting 8 feet away. "Weed is a lazy man's crutch," Merle announces into the microphone. The crowd laughs. Willie strums the last chord of the set, stands up, walks straight to the bus. A joint album they've been quietly planning disappears from the schedule without announcement. Merle's calls go to voicemail. Years later, when Merle tries to make peace, Willie says simply, "Some things you Donnie joke about." When Merle passes in 2016, Willie calls him one of the greats, not one of his best friends. That one missing word says more than any statement he could have made. Their brotherhood didn't end in a fight. It ended in a punchline. Number 6, Kris Kristofferson. The sentence that stained 40 years of brotherhood. Every stage shared, cause fought side by side. And then, one careless sentence in a crowded room. It happens at a private fundraiser in the mid-2000s. Willie has just stepped off stage after hella quiet, devastating set about farm workers and war. Kris, a drink in hand, leans toward the circle around him. Willie's turned into more of a mascot than a musician, he says. The reporters in the back of the room scribble notes. Someone laughs. A friend present that night said Willie froze for just a moment, then walked outside without looking back. The next morning, his assistant cancels their planned duet. Calls go unanswered. Months later, when someone asks Willie about it, he says only, "Sometimes words don't fade, they stain." Kris sends an apology through a mutual friend. Willie declines to receive it. "You don't get to call me brother after that," he says quietly. 40 years, one sentence. The math is brutal. But for Willie Nelson, it's perfectly simple. Number 7, Kid Rock. Session that never happened. Willie agreed to record with Kid Rock because Willie has always believed music can reach anyone. He was wrong exactly once. They meet in Nashville in 2008. Kid Rock pitches a rebellious anthem. Loud, raw, genre-bending. Willie says yes. But from the moment Kid Rock walks in late with a beer, blasting his own catalog over the monitors, the session begins dying. He ignores every arrangement suggestion. He buries Willie's vocals in distortion. He shouts, "Let it be raw," over every attempt at direction. Then he looks at Willie across the soundboard and says, "Come on, old man, loosen up." Willie removes his headphones, sets them on the console, stands up, walks out. The track is never completed. The session is never mentioned publicly. When a journalist eventually asks what happened, Willie says only, "Some fires are better left unlit." That calm reply contains, according to everyone who was there that night, the most controlled fury they had ever witnessed from him. Kid Rock was never invited back. To Willie, a loud voice with nothing real. Behind it is music. It's just noise wearing a hat. 7 names. 7 moments where Willie Nelson decided, quietly, finally, permanently, that some people aren't worth the silence it costs to forgive them. He never published a list. He never gave an interview to settle scores. He just stopped calling. And in the world of country music, that silence has always been the loudest sentence he knows how to write. Which of these names surprised you most? Was Willie right to close those doors? Or did pride cost him relationships worth keeping? Drop your verdict in the comments. If this story hit you differently than you expected, hit like and subscribe, because this is the kind of country music history they don't teach you anywhere else.